Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing Ride 4 once more. We're going to be using the MV Agusta Brutale 1800 right here in the Nurburgring, rocking the Marc Marquez helmet, and ooh, and a bit of a bump there, and another bump as we start this German Grand Prix. It's going to be the shorter track, if I do believe. It might be the full track. No, I think it's the full track. I've done so many races and so many videos, I'm losing track on the track. So we're going to try and go around the outside of the two riders here. Pretty nicely done, just lifting it up so we don't get a fistful of tyre from the guy on the left-hand side. Milton Alvarez Perez, however you pronounce that. Dean Schmal at the head. Oh, it is the shorter Grand Prix. I thought it was. Oh my god. Oh! Taken out! Into turn 3. Into a corner I'm not even going to bother trying to pronounce. As Renato Banfi is skittled across the track as well. It's now time to chase down. It's now time to call upon our inner Marc Marquez to push past everyone and get to the front of this Grand Prix. We're going to try and do Jerez, but without crashing, of course. No disrespect to Marquez. As we go past Johan Nielsen, as we're going to brake extremely late for the chicane, but that is beautiful. We're going to do 3 riders in one corner as contact is made yet again. Before we even got to the Coca-Cola curve, there's mere hunger. Hunger for victory. Hunger to strive for greatness. But unfortunately, DrAce is right behind you and you will be demoted to 6th place in a moment. But in fact, it's the Brazilian who's going to get demoted first as we make a lunge upon the inside of the Swiss rider. Bit of contact there. Forcing me wide, forcing her wide as well. Dive up on the inside of the other ride to make sure we can make the Mercedes Arena corner. As we come up to turn 3. Beautiful corner this, but you have to get it right. If you run it wide, you completely scupper your exit for the next corner. So Sarah Gessner ahead of us. As we're going to brake tentatively up into turn 3. As we're now focused, we're 9 seconds faster than our previous lap. Of course, our previous lap we did end up chewing the gravel. And as usual, the medium front tyre and the rear soft. You know the score. Unlike the harder front, Marquez also likes the harder front, so it's quite fitting. Although I don't think Marc Marquez would be allowed to ride an MV Agusta at any point in his career until he potentially made his swap. So back up to the podium positions as we excellently navigates through the tight chicane. Now we approach the Coca-Cola curve for the second time of asking. So note, I haven't got the actual Superbike tyres on, it's just normal stock tyres. It's 4:30 here in Germany, 21 degrees. Nice sun above. Braking very hard to turn 1. I used a lot of rear brake there as well to slide the tyre in. We did lose a bit of tyre grip. Degradation is full in effect now. As Paul Weschler leads this Grand Prix as I've gone wide. Going to lose about 0.4 of a second there by going wide in that corner. And with about 2.5 laps remaining, it's not ideal. Into turn 3. A little bit out of shape there, touching the grass. Not exactly how I would want to navigate that corner. Into the Michelin curve. And now for the Warsteiner curve. I'm probably butchering all these pronunciations, you know me. Just butchered the word pronunciation again, so it's typical DrAce style for you. Typical DrAce content. As we brake extremely late. Might be a little bit too late, but we've held on to it. Beautifully done. And the gap was temporarily under a second there. And it should be hovering around a second as we approach the penultimate lap. I did that a couple of times. I would exceed track limits onto that part. Don't know why, but I tend to use a lot of rumble strip. Something I've always done. MotoGP, Ride 4, everything. Braking late for the Hoghacken. Anyone who speaks German in the comment section below can tell me how to pronounce them properly, if you didn't mind. As we now have the long chicane of turn 2. We flick it left here, and just halfway through the rumble strip we begin to lift it right. As we have closed right in on the German. He might be enjoying some home cooking tonight. We will not be enjoying the home cooking with a home victory. No thank you. DrAce says no. We can get him here. We have to get him sooner rather than later. The pressure is on. We want to be leading. We want to get through so we can win this Grand Prix. And actually at this point, I felt like this race was down to me and him. And it was just a battle for the win between us both. I was confident I could outbrake him here into the chicane. Marvellously done. DrAce, you race victor. Only one more corner to navigate. Beautifully done. Rocking the Marquez helmet. Not a big fan of those kind of helmets. Not just because it's Marquez, but just not a fan of the style and look of helmet. But here we go. We're going to cross the line. Victorious. And I'm going to let go of the throttle and realise it's not over yet. That wasn't the final lap. This is the final lap. So I temporarily let go of the controller, fist bumped the air, and then realised it's another lap. So back into business. Slight misjudgment there. You know, I was watching a video the other day of, was it Ricardo Russo? When he crossed the finish line, or even Alex Rins in Brno, 2013. Crosses the finish line, celebrates, cheering. We've got one more lap to go. Damn it. I never thought that'd happen to me, but it did. And this wasn't a case of celebrating early, I just didn't realise that that this had another lap to go. It just felt like it had been 5 laps. As the lights begin to shine on the bike. 10 past 5. It's still going to be a victory for DrAce. Although he is closing. He's about a 10th. But we are fantastic into the chicane. And yet again, beautifully timed, beautifully executed, a beautiful victory. Paul Weschler cannot close down on the British rider. Although I've run it a little bit wide into the Coca-Cola curve, it's still going to be a magnificent victory. Yet again. So yet again on the MV Agusta Brutale 1090, I realised I made a mistake earlier. I think I called it the MV Agusta Brutale 1800. I'm totally wrong, I'm a fool. It's the 1090, I'm sure it is. Cadwell Park, time attack mode. It's not going to be the full track, it's going to be a shortened variant. I can't remember the actual... Is it the club circuit? I don't recall what the actual thingy is at the time of this voiceover. Mine's gone blank, I've been recording so much. I hope you guys enjoyed the hand cam video just yesterday. I do intend on doing more of those. I'm looking at doing an in-depth track guide of every single track, telling you exactly where you need to be, what sort of speeds we need to be going at and where to brake, etc. It's going to be a long sort of process, that, so I need a bit of time to get onto it, and unfortunately at the minute, with Christmas coming up, my work is getting busy, etc. So it's going to be tougher for me to cram everything in, but I will continue to upload solid quality content every single day. But the track guides and stuff, and even with the hand cam and stuff like that, if you want to see more hand cam gameplay, you'll have to let me know, because I need to know if you guys are on board with that or if you're not on board with it. Cadwell was easy, now we're on to Utah. It's time to crack on in this legendary circuit in Salt Lake City. And I had a blast here. This is one of the best tracks I ever played on Superbike 10, Superbike 11 Generations. I'm not sure which Superbike game it was in particular I enjoyed it the most. Probably Generations, if it was on that, assuming. It's a really, really good track. It's very long. It's quite intimidating with the length of the track, actually. It's like a good 2-minute lap. But I'm a big fan of it. I think this track is superb. I'm just going to go for a bit of a lunge here into turn 3. Nicely done. Now, it's not the overtaking position I would say to go for, but if you know you've got the confidence on the front end and you think you can get through, go for turn 3. As we go, Isabella Braga just ahead of us. Portuguese lady. Just going to have a look on the inside of Arthur Thompson here. And these two are getting a bit erratic. Detecting a bit of action between these two. Was contacts made as I almost make contact with them. I was hesitant to get involved with these two because it looks like carnage is going to happen. Isabella Braga is right on the rear of Thompson, and they're going to make collision again. As Thompson is going to defend once more. Carnage! They're down. It's over. Thompson, Braga out of this session. It's now down to Jackson, Rigth, and DrAce. Now, I wasn't sure if someone made a spelling mistake and that's meant to be Jackson right, or is Rigth actually a surname? I'm not sure. But beautiful track, long, fast-flowing corners. I would say if you're looking for speed and working on your gears, this is a great track to do it in. There's some great braking zones, some very, very tight corners at the same time of being very long and windy corners. It's a great track. The only thing I would say is it's not as undulating as other tracks, but it still does have, you know, quite a different variance of heights, such as this part of the track. And I also want to ask the question, is it okay to go in the rumble strip here? Because it's like a massive rumble strip, but I felt like I kind of abused that since the AI didn't actually use the rumble strip. I've always remembered using that on like the old Superbike games because you would never get penalised for it. But with a track with so many rumble strips, I think it's there to be abused. So the Australian ahead, riding pretty well. I think he's on a much powerful bike than I am, or if he's on the same bike, it's obviously utilising different tyres and higher performance points. But we're rocking a Marquez helmet, we should be fine. That's the gift we need. And this rumble strip disappears a lot quicker than I thought it would. I intended to use a lot of the strip. Actually, that lap was almost just shy of 3 minutes. Granted, we did start from a stop, so we should shave around 8 seconds on this lap potentially. Braking in turn 1, the sunset bend. I don't think we've actually seen this track on my channel before, so this is a new one for you all. If you would like to see more of this track, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. As we begin to close in on the Australian, the Aussie, the man from down under. As we get great drive here, but run it a little bit too hot. I do think the bikes need to react a little bit more to the off-track. I have no assists turned on for the off-track guides. Like a MotoGP, the bike will probably just spin out at that point, but the bike doesn't seem to react at all to grass, gravel, dirt, and mud. It just seems to slide straight across it and doesn't even slow you down too much. Apart from the one in Cadwell. No, Brands Hatch. That one's pretty good. It does slow you down, that's why you get penalty time. It's turn 11. Indecision. Great corner name. And then turn 12. Precision. Love that. I must say, I don't know all the tracks. I don't know all the names of the tracks and all the corners, etc. But it is very helpful on Ride 4 where it tells you. I know most of them are the likes of Mugello and the MotoGP tracks just by taking an interest and looking into it. But they've made my life so much easier by actually including the corner names because it's easy to forget sometimes. It's about... Of course, you obviously learn as a commentator, or a would-be commentator, if you will. A YouTube commentator. It's good enough for me. Running a little bit too high into agony and ecstasy. Interesting corner names. But we are closing in on the Aussie. Shout out to Remy Gardner getting his first win in Moto 2. Australian fans should be extremely happy as we make a magnificent move to take the lead. Is this curtains then? Is it a case of once you have the lead, big wheelie there, trying to keep the front end down? I also felt a bit guilty for running over the rumble strip to overtake him. I know I can overtake him anywhere else, so I'm going to let him get through in a moment. I know he's around with me somewhere, but I also felt like I could probably escape him now. So let's make it interesting. Let's let him get through. And let's see what he can do. Ramming accidentally. As once again I end up abusing the rumble strip there. So 4 seconds quicker. The Australian in first, British rider second, and third we have the Portuguese man. As he goes to make a lunge up on the inside, Mr. Rigth. Good move from Jackson. Look now for the perfect opportunity to overtake. This is where my ideas were coming in strong regarding the series. As I'm going to make a lunge here, but it's going to not work. I have to be very careful he didn't pull back in on me there. By showing him a front wheel means we mean business. He'll be aware now. He'll be thinking about it. As we go round the outside into the Blackrock hairpin, lifting the bike up so we don't make contact. And Jackson Rigg is still holding on. Pretty firmly as well, I would say. With the man rocking the Ixon leathers. Such as myself. As, he irritatingly picks the bike up for no reason whatsoever. So I want to let him get through. I really hope they patch that. It is extremely frustrating that they just literally pick up the bike just because you're too close to them. I don't care if he bumps me and sends me into oblivion. I'd rather that happen than just to pick the bike up. It would be less stressful. It's lap 3 of 5. Still plenty of time left, although we did lose a bit of time to Mr. Rigg. As we're going to make a lunge and a half here. Can it work? Oh, contact! Definitely rocking the Marquez style with the helmet and the riding aggression. Don't usually ride aggressively, so it's different for me to be absolutely peppering it around this track. As I went for the rear brake there just to slide the bike in. He entered a lot nicelier. I keep saying that. Is nicelier a word? I don't think it is. Entered a lot nicer. It's around the corner. First attitude. Second attitude. Oh, contact made. Bad attitude. Love these corner names. Absolutely brilliant. They're down by 3 seconds now because we've been battling so much, but what's something worth mentioning, we had almost a 2-second gap to the other podium position, and yet Mika Alatalo has caught us up and is right on our tail now. I'm going to try something here to see if I can run it wide to then get the exit, and that is not how you do that corner, because look how much speed I lost by going for that technique. Now, something to mention here as well, actually, regarding overtaking. You have to try these in the race to see where you can overtake and where you cannot. In this instance, doing that wider line, that sweeping line, was not beneficial to the bike or to this track. So it's probably better to hug in there, get in the slipstream, and leave them. And that's why a lot of times in these races, especially for something like this, which is kind of a new track to me, I've played it before, but not to this level. It made sense to me to at least try a couple of overtakes that were going to work and some that weren't. And of course here, I knew I could probably go around the outside, but I'm going to touch the grass. So I just let go of the throttle just briefly. And then braking very late. Again, he's still there into the Blackrock hairpin as he holds me off. Fantastic defence from the AI rider. But we have a great opportunity to now attack, but he's still defending well as we break into the back of him. Bloody hell. I remember when Rossi bumped Lorenzo in Acid. Ducati Lorenzo, I think it was 2018? 2017, 2018? I think it was 18. That was a scary moment. Lorenzo had a moment and Rossi bumped straight into the back of him. That was a fantastic race. My MotoGP knowledge is pretty wide. I do love MotoGP. The greatest sport on earth. And I have the greatest channel on earth with the greatest supporters. That's cringe, isn't it? But still. It's Jackson Rigg holding us off. 20-1. 21 degrees here in Salt Lake City. Ooh, what a big slide there. Something I noticed in this one as well. With the stock tyres, we're on 10%, roughly. 13% on the front tyre, 11% on the rear. And boy, once I noticed it, did I really feel it. It's funny because, for me anyway, you automatically feel the bike going looser and looser. So in this instance, I had already in my head decided I'm going to slow the pace down a little bit and not be as aggressive. But once I noticed it, it threw me off even more to the point where I was being extra cautious about it. So I'd like to keep that on because you guys can see it, but I am tempted to start removing little aids like this to make it more interesting. But I think for the content, for you guys to see, I think it's important to have everything up there, because if you're watching it as like a TV broadcast, it's better to have those sort of things so you can see it. I want to make it more interactive for you guys, of course, in the sense of we'll do these videos how you like to have them done, not the case of how I like to race. Because, as always, I'm always preaching. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comment section down below. If it's to do with Ride 4 or a racing game, let me know, because I'm more than interested in making content that you want to make, that you want to see. So let me know, of course. MXGP 20 comes out in December 16th, I believe it is, less than a month. So I will be covering that as well, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed already. But we have got the lead now, and it's time to pull the pin, because at this point I'm done toying with him. My tyres are down to 8%. I don't think I've seen it that low in quite a while. So we now have to push as hard as we can and survive without going on the grass. It's like the 4th time we've done this race. There's Mika Alato, I can't pronounce that name, Mika Alatalo is coming. And Mika's going to go for the lead if we're not careful. He's less than a 10th behind, waiting for the lunge to occur now. So it's defend for our lives. There's a bit of a mistake there. Bigger mistake than I think I reacted to be honest with you. I think at the time hearts was within mouths. At the time I was recording this, I had another great race on the Suzuki's in Imola, and I've just realised I don't think it recorded properly. It's only recorded 4 laps out of the 5, and the final lap is like the best part, so I'll have to see if I can salvage anything. But as you can see, the tyres are sliding dramatically now. The rear tyre has gone. It's 7 degrees. Sorry, it's 7%. It's now 6%. The front is struggling. We're losing touch here. I'm getting concerned at this point. I don't think we can catch him. We have been toying with Jackson rigged so much that he's not even on the podium now. He's burned too much of his tyres up. Alatalo is right there, escaping. Marilyn Gordon behind on the podium in her home Grand Prix. We're going to have to use the rumble strip. That's what it's going to be. The rumble strip before bad attitude. Here it comes. Closing in. Not too much rumble strip, but just enough. As the man in green pants, which are awful by the way, is escaping. But for how long? Where are we going to make the lunge? Can we make the lunge? Is there enough time? 5% on the rear tyre now. We have to take some ballsy move here. And here it comes. We're going to go for a lunge. Up in the inside. Into wind up. And we've done it. Defended. Attacked. Everything like a pro. Guys, that is your race victory. Here in Salt Lake City. So guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. If you guys enjoyed the video, please like, comment, subscribe, and I shall see you next time. Thanks guys, and ciao for now.